Hello and welcome to another exciting Blender tutorial. Today we're going to be making a space station from scratch. Let's get started. Okay, so what we're going to do today is build a space station. I want to model out some basic shapes and use some of the tricks that we've been using in some of these modeling tutorials to create some really cool detail and use some procedural materials to flesh this thing out. So I hope you're excited and ready to learn some cool things about modeling. What we're going to do is first we're going to kind of flesh out the shape of this thing, and we're going to have several different components to it. So you've got like the solar panel cells, we've got the main modules. So I'm going to start off, I'm just going to delete everything from my scene. And I'm going to go Shift A, Mesh, and we're going to create a cylinder. Now I'm going to rotate this cylinder on the X 90 degrees. So R, then X, then 90, and that will do it for you. And I'm going to scale this thing up on the Y, and we're going to just kind of create the basic shape. So let's go into edit mode, and I'm going to switch to face mode, and I'm going to select this front face and this back face and just hit X and delete faces. I don't like the faces that you get in the cylinder because they're ingons, which means they've got more than just four sides, and they don't render very well if you start messing with stuff. So I like to delete those and just start fresh. So I'm going to take this in here and maybe think about one side of this thing being like a propulsion type thing. Like maybe this is a moving space station. So I'm going to hit E to extrude. I'm going to hit S to scale and grab on the Y and bring it forward. And then I'm going to see, probably not that much. Do it again, E to extrude, grab Y and bring it forward a bit like this. And then E to extrude, scale with S, bring it down, grab on the Y, push it out a little bit, and then E to extrude, scale, just give it a little bit of a lip here, and then E, grab Y, bring it in, maybe scale it in so it's a bit like, conical like that. And then E, grab Y, bring that in, scale it a bit. And then what do I want to do? Maybe should I go all the way down like this? Might do that for now. Then E, grab Y, bring it in, scale it in. And then I'm going to grid fill. So F3, type in grid fill, and that will fill that in. I'm also going to open up grid fill, and I'm going to use simple blending. You can see the difference here. If you look at this section here, just kind of like it's a bit distorted. And I don't like how tight these little corner polygons get. When I use simple blending, I like this a bit better because they're spread out. It's a bit more even. And I might straighten up the span as well. So you see how it's like kind of rotated? If I rotate this, there we go, to 10, that will straighten it up, basically. This kind of just rotates those cuts. So that's how that works. All right, let's go to the other side now. I'm going to hold down Alt and click this edge. And I might hit E to extrude. Let's create like a narrow section. Grab Y. I might continue with this sort of like pattern with the shaping. And then E to extrude, grab Y, bring this out right here. E to extrude, scale it back up. Now I want this to be the same size as this, right? Instead of trying to eyeball it, it'll never be quite accurate. So where you can't really use snapping to pull that off. A really cool way of doing it is actually I'll delete this ring here. So delete vertices. And I can alt click this ring right here. Go to edge mode so you can see what I'm doing a bit clearer. So selected that edge loop. And I can actually in edit mode hit Shift D to duplicate. And then grab on the Y. Oops, switch back to global and back to medium point. Grab it on the Y and bring it right out. Now this circle is now exactly the same size as this one, right? Which is what I wanted to achieve. So now what I can do is I can hold down Alt and Shift and click this loop. So now both of these loops are selected. Then I can type F3 and then I can type in bridge edge loops and it will connect everything up for me. Now bridge edge loops only works if you've got the same number of edges, right? Which we do in this case. So this loop and this loop had the same number of edges. So Blender knows what to do and it can join that up. So if this was missing one edge, and it would be confused and it would give me an error. So you just count your edges if you're getting errors, and that should fix it up. So I'll hold down Alt and click there, and I'll hit E to extrude and grab on the Y and pull this one out. Grab Y. this section right here. So box select these guys. So all of this, Shift-D, grab Y, bring it right out. And then I'll turn snapping on, make sure it's set to vertex. And then I can grab Y and then just bring it right there. Now I need to connect this up. So I'm going to hit A to select all and then M to merge. And I'm going to select by distance, and that will merge up all these guys. So now they're all right. So we got sort of a dual module set up. We got this long area here, which is sort of like a fuselage type area. And then I might go in here and select this edge loop right here. I might hit E to extrude, bring that in, grab it on the Y, do this one a bit longer. And then E, grab Y, maybe bring this out, E, scale this up. And then E, and grab Y and scale it down like this, maybe. E, grab Y, bring that in, scale that down. Kind of making like a front area, you know, like maybe this is where the command bridge is or something. So then let's grid fill this. And again, I'm going to straighten up my span and look at it dead on. There we go. Turn off simple. Actually, in this case, simple looks better. It's a bit cleaner. All right, this section's a little long, so I'm going to switch to transparent view, go to vertex mode, box select this group, grab it on the Y, bring it in. All right, sweet. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to right click and shade smooth. Then I'm going to come over to the green triangle here, and I'm going to go to normals and auto smooth and turn auto smooth on. And I'll leave it at 30 degrees for now. You can see what that does is it makes these edges sharp, whereas everything else is nice and smooth. That just saves me from having to use subdivision surface to kind of, you know, flesh it all out. I could bring this down a little more, maybe like 13. That'll give me sharp edges there too. Yeah, I might leave that for now. All right, cool. Now, next thing I want to do is think about the solar panels, right? So we'll call this the main station, main module. Let's call it something like that. All right, I'm going to center my origin up. So I'll go Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry. And then I come here and put 0 for the Y just to center it up. And now I want to think about where I want to put these solar panels. I'm going to have them kind of sticking out to the side here. So I'm going to create a single plane, rotate on the X 90 degrees, grab it on the X and pull it out a little bit so I can have a look at this. I'm going to scale it on the X, bring it in, and I might scale this down, grab it up, something like this. We'll give it a little bit of depth. So I'll go into edit mode and I'm going to hit E to extrude, grab on the Y, bring it in like this. It's got a little bit of thickness to it. And then I think I'm going to select these corners. Sorry, these corners. And then we're going to bevel. So Control B to bevel. And I'll round them out like this. I'm going to come over to the green triangle, turn on auto smooth, and see it doesn't do anything. You have to right click also and go shade smooth. So I'm going to create a plane, another one. Grab it on the X, rotate X 90. This time I'm going to go into edit mode and I'm going to go to vertex mode and double tap A to deselect all, then box select with B these bottom vertices and hit X to delete. Actually, we'll go in here, we'll subdivide. So type subdivide. And that will just subdivide it once. So now it's got a vertex in the middle. And then I'm going to hit E to extrude, grab Z, bring it down, a bit like that, I think. Grab this one up. I'm just kind of building a lattice frame. So I'll hit E to extrude, grab X, turn on snapping with Shift Tab, and select that. And then I'm going to go right here, E to extrude, grab X, and bring that out to there. And then maybe E to extrude, and then bring that up here. So snapping, you can see, is really handy. I can just kind of move these guys around. And here, E, bring that there, bring that there. Now, I can't use the wireframe modifier on this, right? Because there's no actual geometry, it's just edges. So you have to have faces to be able to use the wireframe modifier to kind of solidify that up. So what I can do instead is I can hit F3 and type convert, and I can convert to a curve. Now this is a curve object. You can see now it's changed its icon, right? I'll call this frame. And now with the curve options, I can add geometry to this thing. So I can extrude it a little bit like this to have it go out. And then let's just convert it back to mesh now. Could have just extruded out the edges. Didn't have to do all that, but that's okay. There's A to select all. Just do this. Grab it on the X and the Z a little bit. All right, anyway, so there's some, that took way too long. Anyways, I'm gonna go object, set origin, origin to geometry, and then I'm gonna go here and select an array modifier. And I will go -1 on the factor, and I will expand it out. Grab Z, actually I'll just put it right on 0, 0, 0. Go to the modifier, expand these out a bit. And then I can go another array and just let that one be set to 2, which will just duplicate it across by having this positive number here. And now I'm going to take my solar panel and let's see, I'm going to grab it on the Z and just kind of line it up. That's right, we're right dead center on the Z. So I'll just hit 0 on Z. And I'll grab this X, bring it in to like here maybe, and we add an array as well, -1. Actually, probably a little bit more than that. So there's a tiny gap between these. And then we're gonna pull those out like so. And then I'm gonna actually then Shift D to duplicate this, grab Z, bring these guys up, grab X, bring these guys out. I'll take this one and add in another array on Y. There we go. Take this lattice and let's Shift D to duplicate the lattice. I'll get rid of the second array. I can get rid of this array as well. Grab this in the X. And then I'm going to rotate Y 90 degrees. Grab X and I'll just line this up. And then I can use the array modifier again. 0, -1. Space it out. Expand it up. We might want to make this group continue through here maybe. Let's see, I'll parent all these guys to the mainframe. So select them all, and the last one I pick is the mainframe. And then in my window over here, hold down Control P and parent it to the object. Take it, right click on it, select hierarchy, Shift D, scale X -1, and that will just flip the whole system around. And then what we can do is we can take both of these and rotate them on the X a bit. Also want to make sure I get some materials assigned before I run away with myself a little bit here. So I'm going to take these guys, 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 those guys. Material, new. Click the little bottom triangle, copy material to selected. Solar panels. Is that panels? I feel like I'm missing an N or an L there, but and then the lattice, I will select all the lattice pieces, come here, click new, click down, copy material to selected. All right, cool. Now let's go ahead and switch over real quick into shaded mode. I'm going to create a lamp and rotate it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and make some space. So make my environment black. I'm going to turn off that. I'm going to go to my render settings. I'm going to turn on ambient occlusion, bloom, and screen space reflections. I'm going to split my view. I'm going to go to the shader editor, and I'm going to take the solar panels first. And I'm going to make the solar panels really shiny and super specky. And then I want to put like a grid on them. So I'm going to go for a, let's see, brick texture. And I will plug this into, I'll just plug it into the emission real quick so we can see it. Into the emission there. All right. That's kind of nice with the variation of the gray. I think I might even keep that. I'm going to turn the offset down so that they're squares like that. And I might increase the scale a bit. And then I want to take the mortar. So in between, it should be black. So I'm going to take this. Let me think. How do I want to do this? I'll stick this in the base color. And what I might do is, what happens if we stick this into the roughness? Let's unplug it from the base color. Let's just do roughness with it. Let's see what that looks like. So we need to invert it for this to work for roughness. So I'm going to go invert, because black is very reflectant, and I don't want that. So let's see. Can we take a curves here and pump it up a little bit? So that, or actually, what would I need to do? I would need to darken it to make it more. Looks pretty good. We give it that kind of gold color. Let's turn metallic up. Yeah, that looks right. That's what we needed. All right, it's pretty cool. Now let's take the frame material. And let's see, I'm gonna turn the specular up on those. Maybe bring the roughness down a little bit. And metallic, I'm not really seeing them very much, so make them dark. It may just not be thick enough. I may need to thicken them up a little bit. So maybe I do want to use the wireframe modifier, or maybe you want to use solidify. Let's see if we can use solidify. I'll put this first, and then I'll pull that up and see what it looks like. It's pretty gross. It's a bit weird, but I kind of don't mind it. Now, the thing with the array is what we need to do is turn this off of relative offset into constant. That way it won't move when the shape changes. So if I make this that, so negative 2.128, back this off a little bit. All right, now let's take this guy. Let's take our sun lamp as well, actually, real quick. And let's drop the angle all the way off. And let's pop the strength way up to like 10. Make it really shiny, so we're like really catching those solar panels. So let's go ahead and create a few Grables. I'll start with one. I'm gonna create a cube, just bring it out over here, focus in on it. And I'm gonna grab the top face, bring it down, and let's see, I will take this face, I'll Control B to bevel, bring it down like this maybe. Select this face, E, scale E, grab it down like so. I'm going to create a loop cut just like that with Control R down the middle. Take this, hit E, grab it up, scale it in, E, scale it on the X and on the Y a touch, grab it up. And then I'm going to inset with I and then E and then grab it down. I'm just kind of making random shapes. I to inset, E, grab Z, I to inset, let's see, E, grab Z up like this, scale X, but I want to do it on individual origins, so I'll switch this to individual origins. Now they don't move towards each other, but they just stay still and kind of shrink just where they're at. I might bring it down a little bit. Scale X, grab Z, scale Y. How's that look? It's not bad. I might grab one of these edges, like this edge loop here. Control B to bevel, roll my mouse so there's just one cut. And then E to extrude that. Bring it out, up, like this. Looks pretty good. I might make one more. So Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A, cube, grab X, scale Z, go into edit mode. This time I'll just do a couple of loop cuts like this, a couple of loop cuts like that. Come here, grab this face, this face, this face, this face, and this face, because why not? I to inset, grab Z, E, grab Z, I to inset, bring them in, E and down. You can see how it's just random stuff. Inset all this, E, grab Z, bring it down. I to inset, E to extrude, grab Z, bring it down. Same thing here, I to inset, E, grab Z, I'm going to bring that one up. And then I to inset, E, grab Z, bring it down. Grab this one and this one. Inset both of those, E and grab Z, bring them right up. E, like that. Grab this up. And then what I might do is, let's see, let's select this vertex right here, Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A, UV sphere. That'll add a UV sphere directly in the mesh. Actually, before I do that, I'll Shift A, UV sphere. I'm going to decrease the number of segments to maybe 10 and 10, because I don't need it to be that big. Maybe Shift D, scale this down, grab X, grab Y, scale it down. I might go ahead and assign a material to these guys. All right, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to grab these guys, move them over here, and just so they're a bit closer so we can easily work. And I'm going to turn on snapping, and I'm going to switch to face. I'm going to turn center on, snap with the center, and I'm going to select align rotation to target. Then I can select one of these guys. I can hit Shift D, and then I can bring it right onto my object. I will actually, before I do this, I will scale both of these guys down. So they need to be a little bit smaller. So grab this, Shift D. There we go. Now what I can do is go in here and just align these guys out. Let's select just this bottom point here, Shift S, cursor to selected. Go out of edit mode, go here to object, set origin to 3D cursor. That'll put the origin of this thing right down there. Now we can do this, Shift D and grab this and it will work. So I'm going to right click, selected these. Actually, first I'll come to here to this arrayed one and I'll apply this. So now these are, it's all one object. So now I can right click, select objects, Shift D to duplicate, and then Control J to join. Now it's all one thing. Now I can navigate to where this one object is and I can move it out of this collection. I pop it up here. So I can just turn this collection off. And now I can take this one object and I can set the origin to the center of this cylindrical object. So I can come here and say loop select that and, that and that, right? So now you can see the medium point of all the vertexes I have selected is the center of the cylinder. I can Shift S, cursor to selected, and now I can grab this and go object, origin to 3D cursor. Now the origin is there. So now if I Shift D this object, turn off snapping, I can rotate on the Y and just slide this thing around. Just save myself some time. Now I've got this super cool thingamabwhatsit. Grab it on the Y actually, bring it down like this, and I can scale it up as well, just to get it to fit that whole thing. And then what I can do is I'm going to make a new collection. I'll grab all these guys and put it in there. Large Grable. And then I can select these, Shift D, grab Y, scale. Whoa. Okay, forgot about those. Now I can select all that again, Shift D to duplicate, Let's grab this on the Y. Slide these guys over here. Shift D, Y. Now we could also do some fancy stuff. If I go here to the front view, turn on transparent mode, box select all these front vertices, just like so, right? And then I can turn on proportional editing and scale and roll my mouse wheel, and that will scale all these guys down. Let's switch to rendered view. You can see it's really looking nice. All these Grables, they just create so much detail. Really lovely detail. I'm gonna grab these guys because we've already got this kind of curve thing going on with them. I'm gonna Shift D, grab Y, scale Y, scale it up. Shift D, duplicate, grab this back on the Y, scale it on the Y, grab Y. Shift D, scale Y -1, flip that, grab Y, place that right here. Now we need to have some random lights on the surface of this guy. I might be able to just go 409, color ramp. Distance into the factor. Make this like a bright red. Give it a constant. Give it a really big scale. So like, and then I'm just thinking like I could randomly position some stuff on these guys. Turn my randomness all the way off. It might be a bit too regular. It's actually pretty good. I could take this, so I could go get a mapping node and a texture coordinate node, plug the generated into the vector, and then I could take this Voronoi texture and I could duplicate it. So now this is exactly the same, but what I could do here is I could bring this in, and then I could go for a mix RGB. Drop this right here, plug this one into the bottom one, turn the factor all the way up, go for add, change this to a green, and then I can offset the location. A little bit like that. Maybe instead of up and down, let's go side to side. That'll keep the pattern the same, right? Now all these lights are kind of side by side, which looks pretty cool. Let's bring this up here. See, I'm just kind of like cheating, basically. I'm just filling this shape out. So there's not a hole, but I'm using the power of Grables to keep myself from overworking it, you know. And what happens if we like create one point of interest, like right here? You know, select these two faces, E to extrude, grab on the Z, bring him in. And let's create another material. And we'll just make this an emission shader. And then turn the strength up. So that's pretty cool. Now, the other thing you could do here is like if you could put in a planet in the background. Like that'd be really cool with some rings, or like do like a sun or something. So like, I could import like the Mustafar planet from the Mustafar series that we did, like stick that in here. That could look really cool. I'd be tempted to do that. Well, I hope you enjoyed that today. Learned a few things. It was a good long stream. That was 1 hour and 30 minutes. So finally got in to do a nice long stream. I've been wanting to do that for a while. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a few things. Now, this tutorial, this live stream video, I'm going to take it down after this goes live, and I'll just put it up for everybody on the Patreon and everyone that's a channel member on YouTube at the All Access Pass level and higher. So if you like to watch this uncut full stream, that's where to catch it. To that, and of course, if you're on Patreon at the $10 level, well, depending on what your currency is, the second level and up, I think it's also called All Access Pass. But anyways, the second level and up, you get the project files for this month and the previous month. So this will be available for everybody on Patreon, this project file here. So you can use this in your own projects and take it apart and do whatever you want to with it. So feel free to check that out if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. It was really fun to have you with me today, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I will catch you later. See ya. Bye.